And if we need to switch sides so the camera's not facing the glare, we can. So, okay.
Nathan, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, it's nice and bright and shiny. You guys all have halos.
Yeah, that's my head reflecting.
I can lower the blinds too,
No, it is perfectly fine. No problem at all.
because they lower, it's literally a push of a button. All right, so I guess we'll get started. Thanks for everybody for being here. It's hard to believe it's been, what, 4 months now, so getting here together, so weather's cooperating for everybody. We'll see everybody August the 10th at the main meetings at the Naval Science Center. So I guess we'll jump right into it and go with the status of our budget and upcoming priorities. John.
Fantastic. So we finished out fiscal year 24. Everything pretty much in the green. We're really excited about revenues. Everybody knows that admissions is up. Everybody knows festivals were successful. I think the real shining star is education. I think education really came in above and beyond revenues and new programming. And Christy and the team did a fantastic job. I also believe that it's a real testament to what we did through COVID, the advertising and marketing we did for our virtual programming. I think virtual programming acted as not necessarily free advertising, but definitely some advertising that got us into classrooms coming to the museum, paying for those services, and definitely recognition statewide. So new customers, et cetera, really played a key role in boosting those numbers. So it's 145%, so 45% above what we thought those numbers were going to be. Really excited about moving forward into FY25. Carryover looked good. Revenues look good for the year. Jumping into salaries and payroll expenses. So salaries and payroll, they're up, of course. We got the 5% and then a 3% or 2% on top of that. And then nearing the end of the fiscal year, they are a little bit higher than we expected because we had some retirements. So we had individual move on, and then we had two retirements that we had to pay out the time for. And as everybody knows with the state, you accrue, say, 100 to 200 hours of vacation time. You get paid out 80% of that at your hourly rate. So an individual who was with the museum for 35 plus years, you can imagine what that hourly rate was. And we can't control when people retire, but we did our best to adapt. And one of those adaptations, I talk about it yearly, because it's kind of fun for me as a financial person to actually talk about, like, we actually used not paying the insurance ahead. So we use that as a safety net. That helped get us through the end of fiscal year 24. So, but we have plenty of money to cover this year. We'll pay it twice, essentially. We'll pay this year, and then we'll pay ahead for the next fiscal year. So really strong going into fiscal year 25. That's just kind of the budget notes. So if anybody has any questions on the budget notes we've sent out, all in all, it all balanced out really well. We'll carry forward approximately a month's worth of payroll. It's all looking good.
Yeah, I'll just say it's nice if your expenses go over budget when your revenue comes in even more over budget.
Right.
And,
we like it when that balances that way, for sure.
I know Ryan and I was talking earlier about how our admissions were slightly down, but the people that we've got coming in are spending more.
Correct.
Yeah. So that was, I mean, we're right there on it, just barely. So that's good seeing that the people that are coming are definitely more engaged and are willing to part with some more funds.
Yeah, I think that's a balancing act with the Museums for All program. So that's we have healthy revenues there from that side too, as far as philanthropic giving. So Hooker Furnishings and the Community Foundation of Southwest Virginia supporting those numbers, and then that gives some people a couple extra bucks in their pocket, I think, at the store. Move on to capital projects. So you guys know the Douglas renovation project is underway. Tim and the team have done a fantastic job of getting that cleaned out. More progress to be made there, working with the architect. So the architectural firm is on board. They are reviewing some notes on their original scope. So we took a pie in the sky original scope, and then we've narrowed it down to the necessities. So they're going to get back to us with that going into fiscal year 25. You'll hear more about that at the next board meeting. The GNS Adams Education Pavilion. Things are moving forward, so we're excited anytime that goes forward. That's been held up in the past through approval process through Department of General Services. A lot of that is the split between a capital maintenance reserve project and just funding through the foundation. So the project's a 50-50 split. As you guys know, the stairs to the rear of the building were not to code. So part of the project is getting those stairs and pad, concrete pad to code, and having that split individually kind of led to us having to get the project approved twice. But that's moving forward. Should see substantial progress this fall. And then we bid it out, and of course, concrete. We're in on concrete subcontractor. So if you're doing any construction at your home or otherwise, the concrete's a hard thing to come by. And if anybody's looking for a job in the future, they should go into concrete because those guys are just charging whatever they want to charge. It's amazing. And of course, the Waynesboro facility, we're moving forward with the detailed design work, getting that knocked out. We're going through the process of trying to get the budget to fit scope. As you know, we took a little bit of a break, and the architect is going to come back to us with kind of a detailed budget on what we need moving forward there. But all in all, it's progress.
So I haven't been to the museum since the last board meeting, and I know we won't be there this time because we have the retreat in Danville. And I'm not trying to make any work for anybody, but it would be kind of cool if there's any visible progress with the pavilion, like a couple pictures to share with the board would be cool.
Oh, yeah, let me do that. So I will tell you, Nathan, we got the roof under warranty. So we have so with the roof being under warranty means it's complete. So we've had some substantial progress there. I think we can get some images for you for sure. I think that's a good point.
I'll take some pictures from a child care director's point of view when we're there.
There you go. There you go.
Get some stuff going
Actually,
there.
since we do have a retreat, it's gonna be a consent agenda, and we won't be talking about finances in Waynesboro and everything else. Maybe we can put together a couple easels with imagery of multiple projects.
Sure.
So we can do that.
All right, so we'll move on to recent pending support from Ryan.
All right. So Nathan, I'm going to reference the advancement report, but I'm not going to go through detail, but I'm going to hit the highlights.
Sure.
So as far as for talking about fiscal year 2024 completed, foundation had a good year. So the number of donations, that's just number of gifts that came in, was up 31% over fiscal year 23. And fiscal year 23 was really good. So it's a record number of gifts that came in, more than any other year in the history of the foundation. That's awesome. Charitable giving, so the total amount received was up 54% over last year. Combined charitable giving and museum earned revenue was up 55% over last year. And then our endowment specifically, our balance is up 11% over the June 30th, 2023 balance. So 11% growth. That's a combination of growth and one gift this year. But the growth itself, I think we were right at 7.5%, 8%, which is good. The goal with our investment is 5 to 7%. So our Stiefel advisors exceeded that for us. So great growth there.
Yeah, all those numbers are incredible.
Yeah. So number of memberships specifically was up 7%. So that's something that we're seeing continued growth. Festivals are a big driver of that. So people sign up at the festival. They can do the math. We help them do the math. Hey, if you got a family of 5, 4, whatever it is, a lot of times it's either the same price, maybe $10 more, or sometimes cheaper to get a membership. So I think we sold over 25 memberships the last 2 days, Friday and Saturday at DynaFest. So yeah, as far as gifts, quite a few have been received, quite a few in process. Talking about the ones that are upcoming, pending. We've got a pending request to Patterson Trust. So that's going to be $25,000 hopefully for festivals and exhibits, upcoming programming. We'll find out in September. We do also have a federal funding request. That's to the museum, not the foundation, but that's roughly $640,000. And we worked with Senator Kane's and Senator Warner's office. They communicated that opportunity to us, worked with us, and it's still in the queue. So we'll find out I think it's the week of August 20th. We'll find out whether we're getting that or not. The funding will come later, but we'll get notification based on past historical notifications.
Cool.
So yeah, hopefully, so far so good. We did also get a state tourism grant for Dino Festival, so that helped us pay for things like tents, but obviously the focus was marketing. So it's a reimbursement request. So we'll submit our reimbursements, get 4,500 back for that. We can take that 4,500 and put it toward Bones and Booze and upcoming festivals as well. Yeah, lots of sort of partnerships in progress, including Boxley, Bassett, Carter Bank Trust. We received a large chunk of the Tobacco Commission funding for the pavilion, so we've got roughly 5,000 left on that. Once the pavilion is opened to the public, then we're going to get the 5,000 remaining, and then we'll celebrate with Tobacco Commission. But they've been great partners with us. And once that's closed out, then we can look at other future capital opportunities with them. So yeah, it's a really, really quick snapshot. The zip codes obviously look good for the fiscal year. We'll talk about Dino Festival with upcoming events as well, but that's kind of the sort of pending and upcoming support.
I also want to point out that Dino Fest, one of our longtime supporters from Charlottesville, came down, and she had traditionally traveled down. She's elderly, and she had traditionally traveled down with a good friend of hers. They're both retired research librarians from UVA and Virginia Tech, respectively. And as it turns out, well, her friend had died last year, so that was sad. But she came down to Dino Fest with her friend's daughter and granddaughter. So she pulled me aside and said that Margaret, who had died, had meant to leave some money to the museum, but didn't, I guess, finish her estate planning or something along those lines. I only had a short conversation. So our supporter is working with the family to make sure that the museum is represented within her estate. So I don't have a timeline or an amount. I don't imagine it being a lot, but considering that we're dancing closer to the $1 million mark, that might be something that puts us over the top.
Yeah, I think it was 60,000,
About, yeah.
somewhere through there. So we're pretty close.
Yeah, I was gonna ask,
Yeah, 40,
we're getting close to
39.
that number, right? When we pop in the champagne, do we have a plan for that?
I'm going to cover that in the upcoming events. We have a plan, Nathan.
Wonderful, wonderful. I had a feeling.
Yep.
Yeah, 39,000 and some change. So we're really close there. Okay. So any questions, comments, recommendations?
You mind if I hit the upcoming?
Yes, go right ahead. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I thought we was
usually
all, I'm
run
sorry.
together.
Yes, go right ahead.
So as far as, I'll hit the endowment first. So as of June 30th, our balance was 960 roughly. But we talked to Gary, our investment person, last week, and it's up to 992,000. So a good 3 weeks there. So our plan is November 15th is we've already got on the calendar reception. It's the joint foundation board and trustee reception. So now that's going to be our planned celebration for the 1 million mark. So it's going to be details to be decided, but it'll be a reception format where we'll invite our members, supporters, obviously board members, endowment supporters that are still with us. So yeah, that's going to be November 15th. So definitely mark the calendar for that.
Done.
Yep. Yeah, we're looking also, like we did, was it January last year? We did the plenty event. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, we had this was just a special night for our members. And it was a nice theme and everything like that. We then have subsequently done our speakeasy, and that was a nice theme, and everyone appreciated it. So we need to come up with something. It doesn't need to be as elaborate, say, as the speakeasy or the plenty event, but I think we should do something that kind of has some sort of theme to get people kind of psyched up and help celebrate.
Yeah, so as far as upcoming events, in addition, we have of course, our round of board meetings. October 26th is our Bones and Booze event. So we're also going to hopefully celebrate the opening of the pavilion. So we have a reception on Thursday, the 24th, and that hopefully would be the ribbon cutting. And then Saturday, the 26th, would be not only Bones and Booze, but the first public event where we use the pavilion. So nice to kind of kick it off with hopefully a couple thousand people.
Yeah.
So that's the plan there. Obviously, it's determined by the concrete. The concrete guys have us hostage. So, mentioned November 15th. Next exhibit opening is going to be February 8th. So that's going to be our our bats exhibit will close, and this will be our next dinosaur exhibit. It'll open February 8th. And then we actually have our speakeasy, or whatever form it takes, February 22nd. So it's going to be Saturday, February 22nd. And of course, festivals coming up after that, but yeah, the list is pretty long. So really good stuff coming up. Dino Festival, of course, it didn't fall within this reporting period, but we had over 4,200 people, 4,270. Exceeded last year's total. Great revenue. We had over $41,000 in revenue for the weekend combined, including the partnerships that help fund it. So, yeah, it's great kickoff.
Yeah, we love starting the fiscal year that way.
Exactly.
Cool,
Yeah.
that's money in the bank.
So we count everything. We count admissions, memberships purchased that day. Like I said, the corporate partnerships, T-shirt sales. It's just a variety of things to help drive revenue.
I'd like the board to keep in mind that the festival starting around 16, 17 began to see almost like logarithmic growth in terms of visitation and revenues. Then, of course, we had COVID and we had logarithmic growth as we recovered from that. I'm beginning to wonder, and I think we're going to do our schedule as we've had it for one more year to get another year's worth of data. But this maximum of roughly 4,000, 4,500 people might be our limit at this point, unless we change something, right? And I don't know what that would be. So it's something we're going to continue to keep our eye on, see if there's anything else we need to do. I mean, this festival seemed so different because we had plenty of local representation, plenty of people taking advantage of Museums for All. So these were all, local folks. We saw our long-time supporters who come to every festival we do. They were all there. But just in casual conversations, this is anecdotal, but there were so many people coming from so far away, they were electing to come from West Virginia, Winchester, Petersburg, Charlottesville, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, Raleigh, Durham. So clearly our reach is out there, right? And clearly people are buying into this is a worthwhile day trip, right? But I think just doing business as usual, this is probably going to be our ceiling. But like I said, we'll do one more year, and in the meantime, we'll need to maybe consider: do we do new strategies, or do we just basically say, okay, we've got this maxed out with Dino Fest? Do we focus our energies on the other festivals and try and make them a bit bigger and get added growth in revenues and attendance there? So some decisions to be made over the next year.
3-day weekend,
Oh God.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, there might be something to that, or have it open on a Sunday. I don't know.
Sounds like one of those good kind of problems.
Yeah, it really does. But I mean, it'd be something. I always thought it'd be kind of neat that we held a board meeting like on that Saturday morning real early, and then finished it off as the festival was starting. So all the board members there, and you say, okay, this is your station, and all the board members will be there already.
As long as you're making us work, because that sounds like a hell of a weekend for the staff.
I mean, for them we would partner up with staff and help. We did that one year, 4 or 5 years. Well, I guess it might have been before COVID. I don't think it was after COVID.
The closest we came was the opening day of the Bats exhibit, opening day celebration.
We had a thing where a bunch of us signed up and came and worked different events. I ended up working the stamping event and something else. Christy would move us around and stuff, and I always thought that was kind of neat, just with us being able to do that. Had quite a few kids there, so.
Nope.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
You open up the behind the scenes and keep curators and others kind of stationed in behind the scenes for safety sake and security sake and everything like that, but give people a chance to go wander around back there, see another part of the operation.
Well, I'm gonna ask a dumb question here. With admissions, our admissions are different than membership, correct?
Yes.
Because if I buy a membership, I've got my membership for 1 year or 2 year. How it goes when I come in, I'm not necessarily paying admissions. So technically that would be the offset. We're growing in our membership, but our admissions are slightly down, but it's because those people have become members. That's what I was thinking.
And things like,
Get it all up front,
Right, it's a,
Pull that revenue forward, that we can do more with it.
we also get folks, we promote our Aztec, our reciprocal partnerships. That's where members from other museums that take part of the program can come to VMNH and vice versa. Our members can go, and that's something we want to promote. Would those people come otherwise? Maybe, maybe not, but yeah, we want to get people in however we can.
right.
Yeah, the whole Aztec reciprocity is something we also need to keep an eye on because North Carolina Museum of Nature and Science, Greensboro Science Center, they and us, we've often, seen our members go there and their members come to us. And so we've always offered the full reciprocity. That is, if you're a member of Greensboro Science Center, you come in free of charge, right? But there, if you're a VMNH member, you get 50% off,
Right.
so whatever. I mean, we've been fine with that. Well, apparently they are now dropping the Aztec reciprocity entirely. So we need to decide now what we do. And, as we kind of muddle our way through it, it's not a simple call, right? We're going to have to look at some numbers and decide what we want to do. But I hate the idea of, not offering. I mean, to me, that's just something a high functioning organization does, and I just don't like the idea of, so we can get a few more dollars, we, start charging everybody. There's just something a little mercenary about that. We do have to pay the bills, so I'd like to just make sure we put on a quality programming and attract people and make them come knowing that they're going to get quality, as opposed to messing around with the edges with things like reciprocity.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, well, we'll keep an eye on it, and we're gonna have to put some spreadsheets together, figure out what the situation will look like.
All right. Well, is there any questions, comments, or recommendations? Anybody? All right. Well, this was a quick meeting, 30 minutes.
Works for me.
So yeah, works for all of us. Look forward to seeing everybody on the 10th for our retreat. That'll be interesting. Just a reminder, remember the 2.
What's the 2?
I think it goes to 2 o'clock.
Oh yeah,
That's a later one. I'm just kind of reminded,
Yep.
just kind of reminded everybody. So I know we've had a couple in the past where people like thought it was getting out earlier. I know when we went to Waynesboro to the Frontier Museum, we had a few people shoot out thinking it was earlier, and we're like, no, it's supposed to be longer.
I think we did one, and I ended up driving somebody home from Richmond.
Yeah, that's right.
So
We gotta get back. So, okay.
all right, so we'll see everybody on the 10th.
Thanks, Nate.
All right,
All
thanks.
Great day, guys.
See you next week.